This company is predatory. This is taking place in Hong Kong, China, and the UK. I've had received death threats. My name's been dragged through the mud. My name is garbage now. Company that's not paying. This company needs to pay. I thought about suicide sometimes, honestly. Like it was really bad.
So they basically used you.
Yeah. They have admitted all fault.
So they have the money.
They have the money.
Yeah.
I'm saying that is like extortion, yeah. That is like embezzlement.
Well, that's kind of pretty much what they're doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
I'm done with excuses. By us winning this, it will send a message that there are consequences. Mm-hmm. We're very close.
Hello everyone, today we're here with Shay, a project manager from EA Edu Design, an education and publishing company based out of Hong Kong that has created thousands of educational materials, test curriculums, and large-scale novels for the Asian market. And he's here today because he has been trying for 2 years to get the teachers, educators, and families that worked on all of these projects paid. He has started a GoFundMe as his legal costs are increasing. Can you share with me how you initially became involved with this project with these two companies and what motivated you to take on this challenge?
So the two companies that we have issues with, I guess I can't name them. One is in the UK and one is in China. Mm-hmm. Now, I was working as a teacher in China at the time when they came to me and asked me to manage some projects for them. And so they were quite large projects, and I kind of get the impression maybe other people tried and failed. And so it was quite the learning curve. And so we were actually quite successful. So what is we're like a consortium of teachers and educators, okay? Mm-hmm. And in doing these projects, they then asked us to create a company so they could work with us more. And so then we ended up working with them for about 4 years. And the relationship was always a little bit rocky. And then towards the end, they stopped paying. Paying got more and more infrequent until finally they still owe for about 202 projects people to finish paying, which they never did.
That's terrible. Wow. So what was your initial reaction when you first realized that payment issues were starting to rise, and how did you handle the situation at the time?
Probably not well. So look, because of the nature of the projects, some delay is expected, you know. So our projects, you know, we did course curriculums, we did PowerPoints, we did a lot of education, but for this, things that they didn't finish paying for was specifically writing books. Mm-hmm. And they were very detailed, very specific educational content built around characters that they designed. We had to do a lot of world building for them. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't simply as in here's our product. Even though we had this really advanced system of basically accepting work, editing it, mm-hmm. giving it back to the writers, bringing it back. You know, each book would take, you know, months to make properly. And each book would be, you know, from either a short story, 2,000 words, up to a mini novel of 8,000 words. And again, very specific content. Mm-hmm. So a lot of editing, a lot of work put into them. And so that being said, of course there's payment delays, mm-hmm. okay? Mm-hmm. It's just they got longer and longer, mm-hmm. and longer. So first be 2 months to review, then 3 months, then 4 months, and then 6 months. And eventually, they just stopped paying. So because there was already a history, mm-hmm. of them kind of not paying, then catching up, and not paying, then catching up, we didn't like it, but we all expected that eventually we would get paid. and we had the company promising us constantly, we would get paid, you can trust us, we paid you before. But then that's when I started to find out more things about the company.
So what was your relationship with these two companies before the situation escalated? Did you feel the companies were trustworthy?
Yes and no. I mean, many of the people that worked with us, as I said, we were more of a consortium of people working together. You know, a lot of them had their own ideas, and so it was kind of a mixed bag. So originally, of course, we all felt like we were a team. We're trying to create this really great educational content together. But then as money issues started to arise, you know, they would start to blame us a lot. At one point, he even told me that if I pushed too much, he would just reject all our work and then not pay anybody.
Oh no.
So to a certain extent, I was kind of held hostage and had to keep working. And I would actually do a lot of free work for them as well, because, you know, even though this is a UK company, they're still Chinese. And in China, you really have this culture of I'll do you a favor, you do me a favor. But with them, it was just all one way, you know. So, so nothing I tried really worked. And so at the very beginning, the relationship was okay. I mean, we had to trust them, of course, which is maybe why maybe they had troubles before, because people didn't want to trust them. But at the beginning, they were trustworthy. May I tell you what I think happened?
Yes.
Okay. So, so they were trustworthy because they had lots of money. Of course, when you have lots of money, things are going well. But then what happened is the parent company in Beijing got sued. Okay. And they had all their bank accounts frozen.
Okay.
And they got sued for basically not good business practices. And if you go on Chinese media, you can see many, what you would here you'd call tweets, you know, of people basically, you know, saying I haven't been paid, it's been months. And once that happened is when our relationship really deteriorated. And I think there was also another incident as well, is so we were working with them for a couple of years, and our company was, and then suddenly this other company appeared called, and now we just hand in hundreds and hundreds of books every month with no editing. And it was driving their staff crazy, and I would actually have to take up the slack because they didn't know how to handle it. So even then, I was being put under pressure to help produce good products and even help their company, because somebody was definitely just putting in, I don't know how to express this without being, can you help me? Like, because I don't want to say it, but you basically, they were basically like writing on a piece of paper, handing it in, and they wouldn't get paid. And they were doing this with hundreds of books. Okay.
So they were kind of fibbing a little bit, like.
And they were getting paid monthly.
Oh.
Okay. Whereas we were having to wait like 4 or 5 months, 6 months. They were literally getting paid monthly.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was something weird there. So
yeah. That's really weird.
So I'm hoping in the lawsuit we can finally understand what was happening there.
So you mentioned working without payment for extended periods of time, like way too long, honestly. What's it like for the educators, writers, and families involved? Like, do you have some personal stories of the people that it affected?
Well, yeah. So again, they were never very good at paying. And when we first started to do this, a lot of us wanted to do it more full time. Of course, that's not really possible. But they would still also put pressure on us to produce content. So it was a very, very tricky situation. Now, personally, as the project manager, I had to work full time. So I really wasn't getting paid. And when we finally kind of come to terms with, okay, this is kind of how this company operates, we're like, okay, we still want to work with them, it's fine, we just won't do it as a full-time thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I did start to advise people, look, if you want to work on these things, you cannot count on it as full-time work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I you will get paid, but it will take time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and but then that created issues too, because a lot of people still wanted to do it full time,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would get people telling me, I have a mortgage to pay, I have my rent to pay. I had one woman who was in another country telling me that she had to buy medicine for her child,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to get her the money. Quite often, I would be going into my own pocket and paying people
Mm-hmm.
for my other job, while we were doing this,
Mm-hmm.
while trying to do this full time. And so it was very, very, very difficult. And I don't know if I should include this, but, several times I would ask everyone, should we continue working with this company?
Mm-hmm.
Because they took up a lot of our time. They were also kind of really disorganized.
Yeah.
Like I said, things had to be very specific and very accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'd be submitting work, it'd be being sent back. It would take months to get things properly. And this prevented us from basically finding other clientele.
Mm-hmm.
But when I would ask people, they would always say, no, no, it's okay, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is on me. I should have said, no, we're not going to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also why I feel personally responsible, and I want to get people paid, because at the same time, when they had trouble paying, I was also putting my reputation on the line,
Mm-hmm.
because they asked me, and I would promise people they would get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
Yeah.
I feel like it is my responsibility, because I promised people they would get paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I know we were going over some of the paperwork earlier.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell me exactly how many people are still waiting for payment currently?
There's about 202 works
Mm.
they still owe for.
Okay.
Of course, not every work is by one person. Many are by multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, I would say between 50 and 60 people. I mean, I would have to look at it again.
Okay, that's quite a lot of people,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, I honestly don't know how anyone can get away with something that awful.
Well, the impact on me has been quite substantial, because, like I said, people kept with the project partly for money, but also because of my reputation,
Mm-hmm.
and so because of that, like, I've had received death threats. I have received people writing me the most heinous comments.
Wow.
And even though I explained to them that it's this company that's not paying, this company needs to pay,
Mm-hmm.
some people just don't seem to understand, or want
Mm-hmm.
to understand, which I get.
So they're just basically dragging you through the mud and
Yeah.
blaming you for everything when it's really their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's terrible.
I mean, like, my fault is I didn't shut down the project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
my ownership right there. I mean, the writing was on the wall. Some of the other people in the consortium, they were like mentioning, but at the same time, quite a few were like, no, we want to take the risk and we want to continue working with them.
Mm-hmm.
But me as being the closest person to the two companies,
Mm-hmm.
I should have just said, look, I'm sorry that you depend on this, but we're shutting this down because it is too risky.
And then, because of all this happening, like, at what point did you decide to take legal action? Like, what was the turning point for you to realize that you needed help to fight this battle?
Well, they didn't pay for 1 year. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, again, with the director of the UK company, I formed a very good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not so good. Look, I always thought that he was the CEO of the company,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that they were part of this Beijing company. You know, I didn't actually understand their corporate structure until I started to sue them.
Oh, okay.
Right? And then when I started digging in, okay, and granted, maybe I should have done this before, but again, we worked with them for years, okay, and there was difficulties.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that the person that I had been talking to does not have as much power as he claimed. He always told me he did, although he did sign the contract, okay, and that the Beijing company owns 100% of the UK company. Okay, so I don't know if this is true or not, but if it is, basically what's happening now, and I'm sure Nikki will get into it, is the director of the UK company, which we have, agrees 100% that we should be paid, but he says he doesn't have the power because the Beijing company owns 100% of his company, which basically makes it a dummy company.
Yeah, okay, I can see where the problem is there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that has to be like really hard on you, like emotionally. Like, can you explain like the emotional and psychological toll this situation has taken on you personally? Like, especially given the financial sacrifices that you've made.
Well, you know? I mean, so basically they stopped paying, and I kept putting more pressure on them, and I was just getting excuses, and and then what he finally did, which really pushed me over the edge, after saying, "Trust me, I'll pay, I'll pay," is he said, "Oh no, we're not sure if we should pay, because we're publishers and we're not going to accept everything that you've given us." That is after we have worked on something for 5 months, okay, back and forth, and we have a database, and in the database, his staff clicks accepted. Okay, so you cannot say after 5 months of work and your staff says accepted that, oh no, we're not really accepting. No, you've accepted it. Okay, don't try to claim that we were giving you shit work.
Yeah.
Okay, that pisses me off.
Pisses me off too.
Yeah, because I said there's that other company that was doing shit work. Okay,
yes,
which I'm pretty sure was someone else's company that I am arguing with, that we are trying to get whatever. I just don't know. I don't know the legal boundaries of what I can.
Yeah, no, that's
because that's kind of a big claim. I'm saying that is like extortion. Yeah. That is like embezzlement.
Well, that's kind of pretty much what they're doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only did I realize that this person was kind of a snake, but and I've received death threats. But also just even like financially, like, okay, not only when I was working, trying to manage these projects so that people could make money, and keep in mind, this was also during COVID, okay, yeah. Which I think probably had a huge influence on the way people thought, and, you know, all through COVID, I was able to keep getting people money when they needed it, so that was good, okay. I was living on like $500 a month, okay, because everything, my salary, everything just went to paying people, okay? Because, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, you know what, I don't have kids, I don't have a family, and eventually they will pay. And so everything will balance out. So I went through a lot of sacrifice. My hair's turned gray. I've gained like 20 pounds.
You're so cute, that's fine.
Thank you. And I've lost a lot of respect. You know, my name's been dragged through the mud, and
well, I mean, especially as like an educator and everything, like having your name just, you know, that's awful.
My name is garbage now, you know. So, and that is part of the reason why they were able to get so many teachers and educators and families to come work on their projects, was because of my name. You know. So
they basically used you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, like, you can't just be some random Chinese company. Oh, hey, do this really hard, difficult work for us, and we promise you'll pay you. No one. Well, you might get some bottom of the barrel person, but yeah.
We were talking a little bit earlier about your GoFundMe.
Yeah.
So, in there you mentioned that you feel like you have nothing left. Like, can you elaborate on what it feels like after dedicating so much to this cause?
Oh, yeah. Well, on the good news though, like, because of all of the work and time and money that I've already put into this, we're very close. Okay, I've shown you a lot of the paperwork and the documents.
So happy.
It's very open and shut and very detailed. It's just now that we're getting down to the bottom line and the finish line, now I need help. So earlier this year was when I wrote my first lawyer letter.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And as I said, the director of the UK company was trying to say, oh, we don't really owe you all this money. And then I basically showed him our database, because I don't think he even really knew what was happening.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then I wrote him a lawyer letter. And that's when he called me and was like, please don't sue me. It's not my fault.
I'll bleep that out.
It's all this Beijing company's fault. And it's not me. I don't have any power. And that's when I started to really investigate the company structure, you know. So we even have him admitting that he wants to pay. We have the database showing that they have to pay. But now, because the Beijing company says, well, it's not our name on the contract, even though they own 100% of the company, they can't sign checks without the company's approval. They're trying to say, oh, it's not really us, which legally you can't do. There's things called alter ego doctrine, as well as piercing the corporate veil. Well, you pierce the corporate veil, prove alter ego doctrine. But even at that, we don't even really need to deal with the Beijing company. Okay. All we need is to basically get a court order to take the money. All right.
Okay, and that's what you're trying to do with your GoFundMe page, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're trying to raise enough money so you can actually like pursue this.
Right. So it's really important to know that all the hard part, all the difficult part, I've done it. Okay. Gathering information, gathering evidence, I've done it. Okay. All the lawyer advice, because, you know, again, this is taking place in Hong Kong, China, and the UK. Okay, so it was very complicated, but now it's very simple. Okay, which is why I'm not sure if I would have really done a GoFundMe before or asked for help before, because what would have been the outcome? Now the outcome is very clear.
Yes.
And the lawyer has given me two paths I can take, depending on how much money we have. Okay. So the first path is we write another letter. They have 2 weeks to respond. Because they've admitted all fault, it then goes to summary judgment. We then get a court order to take their money. And then at that part, just because you win in a court case doesn't mean you automatically get the money. Then we have to pursue claiming the money, which I don't know how much that's going to be. Okay. If we go that route, then we can claim basically interest and penalize them for being, can I say assholes?
Yeah.
Yeah. For basically like dragging families through the mud.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Personing me through the mud. Treating people like garbage.
Yeah.
Not respecting that people sacrificed a lot. Because, you know, going back, like I said, they were sued. Okay. They had their bank accounts frozen. Okay. We still supported them.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though they couldn't pay, we kept basically producing content for them so they could dig themselves out of the hole. Okay.
So you were trying to help them out,
yes.
And then they did this to you.
Yes. All of us were trying to help them out.
Oh my goodness.
Because we believed in their educational content. Okay. And also, you know, like, I wasn't in China at the time, so, you know, they're trying to make themselves sound like it's just a mistake. We're really the good guys here. It's just some like bureaucratic thing, and it kind of made sense. So we're like, okay. So, but no, they really were basically doing some bad business practices, and they deserve to have been sued.
Oh yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you on that.
So, but it still locked their bank accounts, and so we helped them. So,
okay.
So then basically getting to our lawsuit. So I just detailed the one goal, basically the standard, write a letter, court, and then, okay, the court says you now owe the money, and then we have to go and collect it. Now, the other way to do it is a bit more expensive, but you might end up doing it this way anyways with the first way, and that's called winding up a company.
Okay.
And when you wind up a company in the UK, it basically means that this company has owed debt, and you're claiming that they are now insolvent. Now, this is terrifying to a company, because basically what this means is you write them the letter, they have 21 days to respond, and then once they don't respond, you can then start the proceedings of basically selling off their assets.
Oh, well, that sounds fun.
Right. That's why that one's terrifying. Now, for that one, I don't know if I can also then claim insurance and other interest and other things on it. That's for the lawyer to decide. What is the best path.
Yeah. So, and like, how have they responded to your legal efforts so far? I know you can let me listen to that phone conversation earlier, which we probably shouldn't talk about. But wow, that was a lot of BS, I heard.
Yeah, but he admitted. He's like, yes.
He did. He admitted, yeah.
We owe you like 140,000 USD, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So how have they responded? So the company that we work directly for, they have admitted all fault. Okay. But as I said, because they don't have control over their own bank accounts, he says there's nothing he can do. At this point, I don't care.
Yeah, right. Well, you've been waiting for like how long now? Like
2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And technically it's 3 years because this work was done beforehand.
Oh.
Right? I think we finished in 2021, 2022. But I think some of the work goes back to 2021.
Okay.
We would submit stories, and then they would basically tell us how many they could pay for it at the time. Okay. So at first it was, they would pay for 50 or 100 at a time, and eventually, as they would pay in less time, they would pay for less stories, and eventually it'd be like 5 or 10 a month. And here's the thing, even if they could have just kept paying 5 or 10 a month.
Yeah, like even just a little bit, just to show that they're...
Exactly, yeah. But they won't even do that.
Wow.
Okay? Wow. You have to understand, this company in Beijing, they currently have, I believe, between 600 and 900 employees in a really nice office. Okay, in what they call the tech park in Haidian. And like in that recording that you listened to,
yes, yeah.
There are other companies they still owe money to.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? It's just that they owe us the most. Okay. And I think they owe maybe 15,000 to another company.
Oh wow!
And the thing is, I've reached out to these companies and said, "Do you want to do a class action lawsuit?" No, we don't want to be bothered. So this company is predatory. They know, and I've even heard the CEO of the Beijing company say that. He has said, "You know what? Lots of people threaten me about lawsuits. Okay, let's see if they actually do it."
Oh, so he's just kind of...
He wants to wait and see, but you know what? I want to make that wait and see cost him.
Good, you should.
So, so this is why I need your help after doing most of the difficult stuff. So.
Well, hopefully this video will help you out and get the word out there about what's going on. Why do you think they're trying to stall so much?
I don't know either. So look, here's the thing. You can actually go online and see the UK company's bank records, okay, which I've also showed Nikki. And it shows that, they've made millions, okay?
So they have the money.
They have the money.
Yeah.
But that money also goes out of their account. So you guys can make your own judgment of what's happening to this money, okay? I have asked...
on the same page.
Yeah. and I've asked the company, and they're like, "Oh, we've had other people we had to pay." I'm sure you've had other people to pay, right? At the same time, I've also been told by the company that owes us money that it's a little bit of money. There's no reason why the Beijing company won't allow us to pay you, because they are doing millions.
Yeah, yeah.
To be honest, I don't know why they're continuing to stall. Just because I just don't think they want to pay the money. You know what? I think they're waiting for like them maybe to have some big event. You know, something's gonna happen.
Or maybe you'll just give up because it's taking too long.
Right,
I know you won't.
I'm
but...
still being generous with them. You see?
Yeah,
you know?
no, you need to stop. You need to be like now.
Yeah.
Now.
So no, I mean, I really think that at this point they're like, you know what? Maybe they don't want to use all the work we produced.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's like building a house.
Yeah.
If we build you a house, you don't want to live in it. That's your problem.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
Yeah.
It was literally just like building a house.
Because they already like approved everything and accepted everything.
Yeah.
You know, so like they can't. You know, not now. You know, it's
like if your company wants to go into a different direction, that's fine. But you know, but even at that, eventually they might use the content. You know, pictures were drawn. A lot of work were put into them.
Yeah.
And we follow their specifications. Okay, so if they don't like their own specifications, that's their own issue as well. So, I mean, honestly, I think I will have to just say he's just a crooked business person.
I think so.
You know, and he's just really trying to get out of paying. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've reached out for help via GoFundMe. Can you tell me what the public's response has been to that?
Well, I think so far we've raised just about $1,100.
Nice.
Yeah. And some of this has been from the people who I am trying to get paid. But, you know, given there's like 202 of them, if everyone kind of gave a little bit, but at the same time, look, they're already owed money.
Yeah.
And as I said before, there's other companies that they owe money to, and they don't want to sue either.
Yeah.
So it's just something I think these companies just count on. But GoFundMe has been really good.
Yeah.
You know, originally I had on the GoFundMe that if we won, I would give you back your money.
Yeah.
Because I don't want your money. I just want to finish this lawsuit.
Yes.
Okay, so I can fulfill my fiduciary obligations.
Yes.
Okay, it's just like we all got personalities, and mine is just finishing it. You know.
Yeah.
And but they had me take that down. That's why at the top of the GoFundMe it says this is not a raffle or ticket and doesn't constitute anything. Blah blah blah. So unfortunately, I couldn't make that promise. So GoFundMe has been very supportive.
Yes.
And when there's an issue, they contact you right away.
Oh, good.
And yeah, it's been good. And I'm actually even surprised I've even got $1,100 so far.
That's really good. That's really awesome. Like, I'm glad everyone has been so supportive for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. How have they motivated you to keep you moving forward with this?
Oh, well, they've been really motivating.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been like 2 big donors.
Okay.
And actually, I put in $400.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep putting in more. But just the fact that other people are with me on this, that they understand that this is something very important.
Yes.
That corporations cannot get away with treating families this way, with destroying lives.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know the full ramifications of what's happened with everybody. You know,
I'm sure it's a lot worse than you think it is.
Yeah. And you know, and when you ask me how has this affected my life for the last 2 years, that was part of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you imagine 200 emails every day from people?
Yeah.
Some giving me death threats, okay? Asking for updates, you know? So it was like a full-time job. Like, it literally prevented me from moving forward.
Oh, okay.
And this GoFundMe is also for my way as a person to be able to move forward.
Yeah.
At least now I will have tried everything I possibly can. But it's affected me both emotionally, with work. I mean, it takes up a lot of my thought process.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Imagine.
And then also communicating with the company. Because, you know, up until very recently, they kept making promises and promises.
So you kept thinking you were going to get paid. Like, oh, finally this is all going to be over. And then just to have them stall again. And then it just happens again. And that's got to be pretty terrible to go through.
Yeah. I remember a friend, he'd call me up. And he'd like... Because I used to like... it got so bad for a while, and this might have been actually even before we even started doing this 2 years ago. It'd be 3 years ago, because like I said, by then payments were completely like screwed up. Like I used to like just stand in the middle of fields, as weird as it sound, and I'd have a friend call me and be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "I'm just standing in a field," and they'd be like, "Why?" It's like, "So the monsters can't get me." Like, it was just so much mind-numbing stress.
I can imagine.
You know, to have, you know, you're trying your best, you're trying to get this company to pay people. On the other side, you got people who, you know, are very angry about being paid. And look, and to be fair, most people understood. Most people understood. You know, I was basically caught in the middle, and I was trying my best. But I thought about suicide sometimes, honestly. Like it was really, 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 really bad. Mm-hmm. So, but then also I thought, well, if I kill myself, then I can't finish paying anyone. So what's the point? You know?
Actually, though, yeah.
Right?
Don't give up. I believe in you.
So, yeah, so just finishing this is really important, because my name is really important.
It is, yeah.
And
I'm sad now. You made me really sad. Oh my goodness.
You know, even now when I'm remembering...
You're not allowed to die like my bestie. No fields.
No fields. No. Yeah, maybe I was hoping lightning would strike me. I don't know. But I mean, like, and even then, it's like, and you know what? And you know, actually, you know what? You know, one of the biggest compliments I got through all of this, because you know, we have a Facebook group, and I would, like I said, if someone emailed me, I would be talking back to them right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if that meant hundreds of emails a day, that'd be hundreds of emails a day.
Yeah.
But one thing one person said to me once, they said, you know what, anybody else in this situation would have ran away. And that's the thing. I don't have to put up with this.
Yeah.
I don't have to put up with this for you know. I could have just simply said, sorry guys, I'm not paying, tough luck.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like all the other companies are doing. Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah.
You know? And someone pointed that out to me once. And they're like, you know what? And they said, anyone else, and I think she's in South Africa actually. Yeah. And anybody else, she's like, you know, would have just walked away. Yeah. But you're still here. And you're still fighting for us. Yeah. Actually, she donated to the GoFundMe page too.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
A brilliant writer as well. So hey, if anybody needs any writers, I know quite a few that are very good. Who I'm sure many of them have moved on and have their own work, but at the same time, getting jobs in writing can also be very difficult as well.
It can be, yeah.
Which is again why I think people kind of put up with it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
So honestly, we should have just sued 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just. But you know, suing is a scary thing. Nobody wants to sue. Yeah. And that's what they count on. Like I said, there's other companies they owe money to.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't even want to sue.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is a scary thing, but like, yeah, you're definitely doing the right thing.
Thank you very much.
Stick it to the man.
Yes.
So what do you hope to achieve with the lawsuit for both you and your team or future workers that might find themselves in like similar situations like this?
Well, I think once we win, there will be several ramifications and consequences. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have friends in China.
Yeah. And
a lot of them tell me on other companies have done similar things.
Oh. Okay.
Whereas they have worked on projects, completed the project, and then never got paid. Okay.
Okay.
And so by us winning this, it will send a message to a lot of these companies all over the world.
Yeah.
That there are consequences for treating people as if they are disposable garbage. And that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So this company, you know, which is supposed to be for education and for families, has basically screwed over families who have dedicated their lives to education.
Wow.
You know?
Like, I don't understand how corporations can be that terrible, especially to like the families that they're trying to provide all this stuff for. You know,
Yeah, it's completely against their, I don't know, messaging.
It
You
is.
know what I mean? It's like Disney.
Like it goes against what they stand for.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yeah, that's terrible. How do you feel about the corporate greed you've experienced with these companies? Do you think it's indicative of a larger systemic issue with the entire industry, which we did kind of touch base on a little bit, but I don't think it's just the company that you work for, or you know, it's a lot of different companies all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I mean, I only have experience with this. I mean, obviously, moving forward. If I'm ever able to get this sorted out.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you know, this consortium of people still want to do things, then obviously we'll protect ourselves better, although there's not really any better way we could have protected ourselves, other than just suing faster, you know.
See, but did you really think that it would go on for this long? Because they did
No.
kind of give you payments here and there,
Exactly,
and then promise things, and then, but then it all went to shit.
You know, we actually used to make this joke, right?
Okay.
Because we always say, wow, they must be psychic because they always seem to know how far to actually push us. You know, when we're like, okay, we cannot do this anymore, and then they make some like big payment.
Yeah.
You know, and then eventually smaller and smaller payments. You know, so it was just enough to be like, okay, you know, they're trying.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But still, why we put up with it, I don't know.
Right.
I just. Because we literally lost other contracts. That's the thing.
See, but you couldn't have known that this would have happened. Honestly, like 2 years ago, like would you think that you would be where you are now?
No.
Exactly.
And again, COVID, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, our company incorporated in 2019 in Hong Kong by their request. So again, we started working for them. They kept giving us more and more projects. They're like, look, if you really want to have more projects, you should become a company. So they helped us, okay? And there's that too. So there was a little bit of loyalty there.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because they helped us become who we are.
But I feel like they helped you for the wrong reasons, especially because of what's happening now. I don't think they did it as a positive thing.
No.
Unfortunately, and I think it's very terrible what happened for you and for everyone else involved. The 202 other people involved in this, if not more. Like there's probably hundreds and if not thousands more people that are involved in, especially with a company so large.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Now there was a book project before this, and again there was payment issues for that one. Yeah. That one was fully paid.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not wanting to just be like, oh, this company is so they are terrible, but I mean, give credit where credit's due. And they did fully finish paying for that one. And before we took on another book series with this company, I was like, I went to people, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, okay? Because I'm the person who is taking care of the finances, of the corporation, of the company, of like, in the end, it's my responsibility. I'm the one working 80 hours a week to make sure that you can have your money. And I couldn't ever ask for help. I couldn't hire staff because the payments were like this, right?
Yeah, so you didn't know if you could even, like, if you hired someone, if you could pay them.
No, I don't want to. I'm not stupid. I'm like, why do I want more people angry at me? You know. So I would do everything myself. Basically, we had about a freelance staff of 300 and 5 managers, which were editors and educational designers. And between myself, my 5 staff, and the 300 freelancers, we were doing basically like all this work. Like, but my point is, writers got it right, and I think that was the main thing that kept people going. Is 2019 we started, although we were working with them before. It's just 2019 is when we incorporated. And then when did COVID happen?
I think it was 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah, so then 1 year later, And the first year was kind of okay. I mean, it was like this, but it was nothing that was.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened. Okay, so you're a writer. All you want to do is write. The world is going crazy.
Nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do.
Can't go anywhere.
And here's this job, which is probably the only thing that is keeping you from living on the street.
Yeah.
Because we hired people from all over the world.
Oh. Yeah.
So, anyways, we felt it was very important to try to help as many people as we could during COVID. But they should. Like,
Yeah.
people should be upset, and people should be upset at me. I'm not saying they shouldn't.
I don't think any of this was really your fault. I don't think that knowing what you knew when you went into this, that you could ever have expected an outcome like this.
No, and everybody basically knew what I knew. Like I said, my job was just doing the corporate stuff.
So they just made you a bunch of promises, promised you this, promised you that, helped you out just to end up doing this to you. That's it's not very nice. It really isn't. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, we could have parted ways sooner.
So what would the next step in your legal battle be? Any specific actions or support that you need right now to push this case forward?
Honestly, at this point, it's just money.
Yeah.
So we have raised enough money for the retainer for the lawyer.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. So I need the money to bring it to the end finish line. So the UK courts, whether it's just through standard suing or through winding up the company, which are the two options the lawyer has given us, to basically force them to pay.
So if you could sit down with the CEOs or executives from the two companies that we're discussing, what would you say to them?
That's a really good question. And that's going to happen. So because this legal battle is getting really heated up now, as I said before, my responsibilities was basically fiduciary and corporate responsibilities. This also means I have to keep the Hong Kong corporation open. Okay. If I don't keep the Hong Kong corporation open, then there's nothing to sue them with. So this has been another financial burden for me.
Yeah.
Because a person's not supposed to cover the finances of a corporation, even if it's not even making any money. We haven't made money in 2 years. Like I said, they were our clientele, and by the time we started doing something about it, it was too late. Anyways, so I had gotten a little bit behind, and Hong Kong takes us very, very seriously, and so I was going to get sued by the Hong Kong government, or by I think it's the IRD, Internal Revenue Department or something, for getting behind on my accounting fees. And so I actually went to them because I thought, okay, well this is a good, what would you call it? Leverage.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because if I get sued, they're going to get sued.
Oh, well,
right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't pay their debts. So they would say, how come you haven't paid? Well, because these companies haven't paid. Okay, well now we're going to sue them.
So it's just a big long line of people not paying other people.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So I went to them and said, and so I actually had a friend in Beijing go to their headquarters, okay, and they met with him, and again they admitted, okay, yes, we owe the money. We really feel bad for owing the money, and we started a group chat, and I thought maybe things would get solved then. Okay,
Yeah.
So again, I keep trying, mainly because I don't have money to finish the lawsuit. Because trust me, I would have just sued them if I had the money before. But even then, it was so much time collecting the information.
That's probably why they're not paying you, so you can't sue them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if he's broke, he can't sue us.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they know at this point that I'm just going to turn around and take anything they give me and sue them with it, except for this, right? Except for this part, because and I showed them the letters. I showed them the declaration of court summons if I didn't get this paid by the middle of November, so now, and their response was basically, yeah, well, we know you're in this situation because of us, but sucks to be you. And I'm like, this is gonna affect you.
Yeah.
I'm just asking for you to release this much money that you owe us so I can take care of this.
Yeah.
You know?
It sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah, they're like, no. So, fortunately, I was able to take care of it. Okay. And the lawyer, and I actually put this on the GoFundMe.
Okay.
Sorry, not the lawyer, the accountant basically said, look, okay, you've paid enough now. We've handled the situation. We've renewed your business license for another year.
Perfect.
Good luck with the lawsuit.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So
Yeah.
they have asked me to come to Beijing and talk to them. Okay.
Do you feel safe going to Beijing, especially with all these like?
Oh, Beijing's a wonderful city. It's safe, you know.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And
you feel safe going to talk to these people?
Oh, going into their office?
Yeah.
Honestly, what I'm afraid of is I'm going to basically make the trip there on their behest, and they won't even talk to me.
Oh.
I can see them doing that, you know, because they're like, oh, he's not really going to show up. No, I'm here. Now,
yeah, just knock on the door. Just like, hey.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, so, because like I said, I already had a legal representative go by, and it looked like it was going somewhere, but didn't. So now I'm going to go by, and if I can get a little bit of money out of them, yes, I'm going to turn around and sue them with it.
Beautiful.
But
yeah,
we'll see. You know, and it's actually a big weight off my shoulders because these really broad, massive shoulders. No, it's a weight off my shoulders with the accountant because
for sure.
the thing is here's the thing, I'm constantly being attacked on a corporate and financial level from so many different angles
everywhere,
right?
Yeah.
And for the accountant to say, look, you're good for now, that's one less thing I have to worry about.
And that's very good.
So hopefully maybe in a couple months, if I get enough money to finish this lawsuit, this can be over. And honestly, I don't even know how I will feel. I have dreams about about not having this anymore.
Right, yeah.
Like best case scenario. I mean, look, if we can finish this and I can give people extra money, so sorry, that things took so long to get you justice. All right, that would be fine. But even if everything could just be wiped clean, zero, okay, I can close down that company. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I don't have to keep it open for fiduciary reasons. I'm not saddled with this huge debt, and my name is cleared.
Yeah.
Just to be normal. You know what I mean? Free.
Yeah.
I want to be free.
I think everybody wants that.
Yeah.
I like my heart goes out to you. Like totally. Like I know everything will work out.
I hope so. Well, I mean, with your fans,
hopefully
your subscribers,
non-fans, all my subscribers, please like and share. Just get the word out about this. It'll really help Shay out, and he'll really appreciate it.
Yeah, and there's more information on the GoFundMe page, which I didn't want to share because I don't want to get Nikki into trouble. I'm not even sure if I should be sharing it on my GoFundMe page, but whatever.
It's there if you want to go read it. Definitely go to Shay's GoFundMe page, and if you can, help him out as much as you can. Very much appreciated. Yeah.
In the end, when we win this lawsuit, with your help.
Oh yes.
That is one thing.
With all your help.
With all your help.
Yes.
This is one thing I really, really, really want an answer to.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was basically, who was this other company? Okay, that was basically submitting a ton of work, getting paid monthly. Okay, were they getting money from the Beijing company, or were they self-funded? If they were self-funded and they could do this, fine. Okay, that's on them. Although that means that they have a huge debt. Okay, how much money were they given? Okay, who was controlling that company? Okay, where was that money going?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And basically, why did we have to sacrifice? Okay, especially since I was then asked for myself to pick up the slack for another company. It only sounds like one person was profiting from this.
That's what it is.
And hurting a lot of other people for that. So it's corporate greed, it's personal greed, it's mismanagement, and I'm hoping in the court case, I want answers, right? Because like I said, I dedicated 4 years of my life, now going on 5 or 6 because of the lawsuit, okay, to creating great educational content. And I want to know, okay, was I just basically being taken advantage of? Were we all being taken advantage of? Okay. Although again, me, sorry, but me specifically, because I had to do so much free work for this company because I wanted to ensure that they would actually pay, you know? Like, was there a good reason for all this? Right? That's what I want to know. I want to know, is there, or is it just simply a bunch of assholes who basically decided we're going to take advantage of these people? You know?
That's a very good question. Yeah.
And now, you know, now it's just basically between 5 and 10,000 pounds. You know, it's just 5 and 10,000 pounds. And, you know, about 200 people can get, you know, satisfaction. Or whatever the 202.
That's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of stuff that needs to get paid.
Yeah.
I was surprised when I was going over that list and it just kept going. Because I'm like, oh, there's 12. And I'm like, oh, there's another page. I'm like, oh, there's another page. I'm like, just kept scrolling. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, they owe 140,000.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That is way too much money.
USD.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, for published works. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, no problem. Anytime. I'm so sad that you're leaving here soon.
Yeah, well, it's for good things because I
Yes,
will hopefully get to talk to them face to face, and it's such a good thing too because originally the whole reason why they want to talk to me was about the accountant because they didn't really want to get sued, but at the same time they didn't want to make any promises. But now the accountant is okay. So now if they do give me any money, I can just take that money and put it into the lawsuit.
Good. Amazing. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you everybody for joining us here tonight. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to go check out Shay's GoFundMe page. I will post a link in the description down below so y'all can find it. And thank you so much for being here tonight and sharing with us this story that you have. It's definitely, I can't imagine going through something like that. Wow.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's very heartbreaking to hear that, you know, these companies are doing this to people.